obviously there's going to be reaction to what Tua said.
Yeah, there is.
To Brian Flores, current employer. We've yet to hear from Flores. They make coordinators periodically available depending upon what team it is prior to the season. Here's Kevin O'Connell, head coach of the Vikings and immediate supervisor as of right now to Brian Flores, with his reaction to what Tua had to say.
I don't particularly have a comment on, something that took place with another team, or I don't like to comment on, comments of other players on other teams. But I can just tell you, I know the players Flo works with. He's got great relationships here. He really has. I know you guys have heard a lot of them talk about how much they enjoy playing for him and how much I enjoy working with him every day. And that's all I can really comment on, and I just like to leave it at that.
I think that Flores and O'Connell together probably mesh well when you consider the differences in styles. Little good cop, little bad cop. Little Flores kicking ass and taking names to get more out of the defense, and then O'Connell, when necessary, balances everything out. Yeah. So I think the two personalities together really could be effective. And maybe Flores is different now. Maybe he self-scouted himself in the aftermath of what happened in Miami, and he realized, I probably should soften my approach. Maybe there's less stress on a guy who isn't the head coach and doesn't feel like the owner might fire him and has
maybe
a job that
lose
he's
games
already proven he's very effective at.
So
Yeah, just things. It was a bad, weird relationship.
Right.
Maybe it's easier for him to just be an X's and O's guy. Tell the story all the time about how it changes. You become the head coach. Tony Dungy, they come in. Where you want to stay for the preseason game in Kansas City? It's like, why are you asking me? You're the head coach. All the other crap you got to worry about when you're the head coach. When you're the coordinator, you can just worry about X's and O's and getting your players ready to play, and you can focus on that. And so maybe, for a lot of people, when you're under stress, it manifests those negative characteristics. You get more irritated. You get more upset. You unleash on people a little more. Maybe this is the perfect lane for Flores, defensive coordinator, working with a head coach whose personality is very different from what Tua explained in the conversation with Dan Le Batard. So maybe it just works well. It's a good balance and a good mix. And we saw last year how much better the Vikings defense was with Flores there.
Yeah, he's a special coach. I mean, his X's and O's are special that way. And I think you're saying some good things there with what it could be in Miami, let alone, hey, he had an offensive coaching staff too, excuse me, that was from New England as well. And they were probably in his ear like, we can't call this play. Brady can throw this in his sleep. Tua, we can't call it. So he was hearing all that, let alone the pressure and everything to go along with being a head coach. So I'm with you that way. But I will say, like in my experience with Brian Flores and being around him, right, is we talk about this a lot with coaches in the NFL. Players just want somebody that's going to be honest with you and tell you what you need to do to get better, and where your focus and drive should be. And my experience, whether it was working in New England and seeing them there, or being around other players that have been with Brian Flores, that's where there's no BS there. There's no politicking at all. I mean, he can maybe be brutal that way. But he's in a good spot, I think. I think with him and O'Connell, O'Connell, I think, has got a little bit more of a toughness and a meanness than people realize, and B-Flow has a little bit more of a nice, funny side than people realize, but they're a good balance for each other in the yin and yang department. You're right about that.
And it'll be interesting to see what Flores has to say, how far he'll go in responding to Tua. Will he... Who knows? My guess is, based upon his time with Bill Belichick, the past is the past. I'm focused on the present. I'm happy to answer any questions you have about this team. I've got nothing to say about any prior teams that I've worked for. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.